Okay, hello, this is my budget build for Profit Taker. I'll just go through it top to bottom. I'll start with Profit Taker though. From what I've only done it a few times, pretty new to it. I only got my Mastery Rank 5 with Udico yesterday. I've only done it a few times since then. What I have gleaned from Profit Taker is you'll do damage, a damage type. She'll cycle for a damage type, and basically you will, if you've got that damage type, you will just filter through every other damage, and you will only hit that damage. Status chance doesn't affect this at all. So I think you just, if you've got puncture on your weapon, you'll do puncture damage regardless of how much damage it does. So that's how Profit Taker works. So I'll start with my Warframe. Obviously this is a solo budget build, so I would take a tank. If you were 4, maybe you could divvy up and take different roles, maybe some crowd control for the enemies, etc, etc, maybe some DPS to put Profit Taker down faster. But if you were going to go solo with just randoms, I would take a tank just for survivability. I've chosen Inaros simply because he's one of my favourite tanks. You could take Neza, you could take Rhino, but Inaros for me just because he's a good tank, he's solid all round. The build for him, pretty simple, health and armor. Literally everything here is health and armor, except health conversion, adaptation, and handspring. Handspring is for knockdowns. It's not as bad as teralysts, but Profit Taker will knock you down, and then that could be the death of you. So this is good survivability. Adaptation works really well with the 5k health that you have here. Health conversion is, you could swap this out for something else, but I just like it because if I run over a health orb, it's just extra armor stacked onto my already 580 armor. It's pretty strong. It's pretty standard. I'm not building for any abilities because Inaros' abilities aren't really useful in this situation, just more his stats to keep you alive. So yeah, you could take any tank you have. Rhino would do, anti-knockdowns, anti-status, etc, etc. Moving on, Rubico Prime. This is fairly new. You could take any primary weapon. I'm just taking the Rubico just to show you an example. So if I look at it, the spider build, I've built for as much damage types as possible, more so than I have buffing those damage types. So I have 4 dual stat elements. I've taken the dual stat elements just because they are cheaper than normal elements. I would say take these, but again, maybe it's not worth your time forming all of these up, making sure you've got a build for it, and then, you know, these are just cheaper. You're only sacrificing what, like 30% on each one, but if you want to min-max, sure, go for it, but these are just cheaper. They're rarer, but if you've got them, they're cheaper, so it's just less work for you. I've taken radiation and viral on here. The one thing I'm not sure on, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you cycle on heat and you're dealing radiation, you will deal half of this, I'm guessing, because it takes heat to make radiation. So it would be better to make 4 elements here. I'm guessing that's how it works. If not, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe if you roll on heat, you can only deal heat damage if you've only got heat instead of radiation, etc, etc. Again, I don't think Profit Taker takes status chance, so it's more like you roll on it rolls on heat and you'll do heat damage, and that's literally it. You won't proc the heat stats effect, you won't proc stats on her at all, it's just the heat damage. So trying to roll on as much elemental damage as you can. Obviously you want to find a weapon with three like standard damage types. I chose this one's got impact, so 709 impact with nice crit chance, nice crit multiplier, etc, etc, plus with the buff on the scope. So this has got really nice impact. So that is the primary weapon, that's the build I've gone for. Again, you could swap out these if you want to go min-max. It's as simple as that. Move on to my secondary. Again, the Acolyte's Prime is rare as hell, I know, but again, you could swap it for anything, literally anything. Stilettos, a kit gun, a Pandero, Piranha Prime, as long as they've got the 3 main damage types, is fine. I've chosen the Acolyte's Prime here because, like the Rubrico, it has nice impact damage. This one has really nice puncture damage. So when it swaps to puncture, I just switch to my secondaries and use that. It also does corrosive and heat. You could take gas for cold, because I don't think I've included cold here, except for viral on my primary. So you could swap this for gas and magnetic. This one's only got corrosive and heat, simply because I've got 4 mods dealing my damage. So when I roll on heat, it's going to do a lot more damage. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. I've got corrosive, 2 elements, or 1.5 elements, and then the standard 3 with difference in like prominent damage with puncture than the Rubico, which is impact. It's as simple as that. The melee weapon, again, up to you. I've chosen my Zor because it's got really nice range. It's built for high level, which is like level 50 plus. Does blast, good CC damage, does corrosive viral, and then 3. You won't really be hitting the Prophet Taker with this, simply because this is built for however many status effects you've got on with Condition Overload that you'll deal more damage, but I don't think Prophet Taker takes status effects. It's just the damage. So this isn't really designed for Prophet Taker, it's more designed for the units around her, which will deal a lot of damage if you don't keep them under check. So Blast is a good CC, it's just a well-round good melee weapon, but again, you could take normal Galatine, you could take Galatine Prime, Paracesis if you did the quest, anything like that. It's up to you, but I've just taken Cleanse My Lee because it's a good CC, it's a good strong all-round weapon damage build. Okay, moving on to the Arcwing weapon. So I hate Arcwing. I never liked it. I never enjoyed it. I chose the Grappler, and the reason why I've chosen the Grappler is because it's the only other Arcwing weapon I have, and 2, I did it for the Jordas Precept because I was looking through the forums at the time. I was like, I can't do this. I need to find a good weapon, so I built the Grappler. I didn't even catalyze it. I didn't use a potato on it at all, and the mods are literally mods that you get from normal Arcwing missions. And that's it. And this enabled me to do more damage than anyone in the squad. When I did it the last time I went, it's really strong. It's a really strong. It did really well in the Jordas Precept, and it does really well here. Obviously, I've got none of the new mods, but that's fine. It does enough damage on its own. The next thing I was going to do is going back to do a couple of the phases to get a couple of the mods that would really complement this build kind of thing. I would have taken Embodied Shot for the 6% damage and the Punch Through, obviously hitting 2 legs at once. It's, it's good damage. You'll get it faster, it's simple as that. A couple of those things, it's as simple as that. I mean, it's already got 5 Punch Throughs, so it's kind of mad. But yeah, this is it. It's budget, like this is stuff that you get in the main game rather than doing the new content. The Grappler is fairly easy to build. I did it really early on, and I only catalyzed it, and this is what I fit on it. It's as simple as that. I haven't formed it at all, and it's as simple as that. I did pretty good damage with this, and that's it. I hope you found that informative, and if I was wrong, please correct me in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thank you.